Hello everyone. So today we have our guest Aditya Barve, BTech student from MIT AOE. He has successfully got placed in Cisco, which was an off-campus drive with CTC of 25 LPA, and also EQ Technologic, which was on campus. Hi Aditya, how are you?
Uh, Hello, Shreya. I'm fine. What about you?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Okay, can you please tell us about your placements?
Okay, so as you mentioned, so I have been placed, so I've got full-time placements offer from Cisco as well as EQ Technology. So for Cisco, it was an off-campus drive conducted by Cisco, and regarding EQ Technology, so it was a on-campus placement which was given by our college.
Okay. Can you just elaborate about EQ Technologic process or the selection process?
Sure. So the EQ Technologic, it first came in our college on CalExpert. So after that, we had to first give an AMCAT test. So the AMCAT test was consisting of around 15 aptitude questions, which we had to solve in 15 minutes. And after that, there were two programming questions. So after the AMCAT test, some students were shortlisted for the interviews, and the interviews spanned around for 3 to 4 days, so like one interview each day, and after that we are given the results, um, whoever have been selected. So the about interviews, so the interviews were surrounded around CS fundamentals basically, and a little bit of programming. So CS
Okay.
fundamental, in sense I want to like, uh, so it basically consists of OOPS, then object oriented programming, DBMS, then operating systems and computer networks. So it was focused on these four subjects.
Okay, got it. Also, can you give us more details like how did you approach Cisco for the internship and what was the process for it?
Sure. So, as you know, in our college curriculum, after third year, we have a internship, a summer internship. So,
Okay.
around February, I was searching for this particular internship online, and it was around that time that I got to know about an internship opening at Cisco. So, I applied for the role of software engineer intern at Cisco, like around February end, and after that, like in the first week of March, I got a hacker rank test link from Cisco, which consisted of like two programming questions. So the test was like in the month of March. So I don't know, like I don't remember clearly the coding questions, but the first question was based on a Floyd Warshall algorithm. So basically, we were given n number of cities and the distance between them, and we had to find the shortest distance between each pair of cities. And after that, there was one more processing step which we had to do to generate the output, but I don't remember it quite well, the processing step. But it was basically based on Floyd Warshall algorithm. Then the second question was not based on any particular algorithm as such, but it was like a question in which we had to find a pattern between the input as well as output, and then program that pattern. So basically, if I describe the question, in that question we were given two integers n and m. So first of all, we had to construct a set of strings of length n, and the set of strings should have a particular set of characteristics. Like first of all, the string should only consist of two characters, a and b. Then next was that two consecutive b should not come come in the strings, and finally the string should be arranged in a sorted fashion. And after getting the set, we have to return the mth string in this set. So this was the question which was there. So these were two programming questions. So after completing this test, like in the first week of April, I got an email regarding the like I've been shortlisted for interviews, and so there were three interviews which Cisco conducted. So all of them happened in a single day. So the first interview was technical round, then second was managerial, and the third was HR round. So in the technical round, basically some programming questions were asked, and as Cisco is a networking company, so some basic questions related to computer networks was asked. So in our college, in fifth semester itself, we covered the subject of computer networks, and because of that, I was able to answer the questions. So after the technical round, in the managerial round again, I was asked some questions based on my projects and internships, and finally a system design was given to me. So I was asked to design a smart parking system. I had to tell them like how would I go about designing it. So and finally the HR round was there, in which in the HR round basic behavioral questions were asked, and after that, like around 15 after 15 to 20 days after that, I received the result that I've been shortlisted for the internship. And the internship took place like in June, July, and finally in the month of August, I received a pre-placement offer from Cisco.
Okay, that was great. So you explained us that it was mainly coding based, like it was moreover focused on coding, like your questions were
Yeah,
your yeah, solving probability was tested. Okay.
as well as like programming, as well as computer science fundamentals. So, as I mentioned, operating system, computer networks, and object-oriented programming. So,
Okay. You explained actually like how long the procedure took, but can you just explain again like exactly when did it started and when did you got your this thing, the result, like you have got selected?
okay, so I had applied around in the month of February. Then the first HackerRank test link was sent to me in March, and the interviews happened in April. So like around 3 months was the hiring process, and after that, for 2 months was internship, June, July, and finally in August I received the PPO.
Okay, that's great. Also, what was the eligibility criteria if you went off campus?
Okay, so the only eligibility criteria for Cisco internship was that I should be passing out in the batch of 2023. So basically, I should be in the third year because the internship was only for third years at that time. So that
Okay.
was the only main criteria. And apart from that, I think the CGPA criteria was low, only like 6.5 and above CGPA. Then yeah, I think these were the two main criteria.
Okay. Also, can you explain like how did you prepare for these interviews? Like what helped you more?
Okay, so I've been doing competitive programming for like around 1.5 years. So that was the main thing which helped me in solving the programming questions. Because in the online assessment of most of the companies, we are required to solve programming questions in a limited amount of time. So that is something which can be improved by using competitive programming. So that was one thing. And also I've done some previous internships apart from Cisco. So that was also one of the key factors, because in interviews they asked me questions also regarding internships. So because of that also an impression was created on them. So these were the two factors, I think.
Okay, that was great. Okay. Also, would you have any advice for students like you should focus on this thing or you can prepare from this websites or this platform would be
Mhm.
helpful?
Okay, so my advice for preparation would be that so basically there are two things which companies focus on. So first is data structures and algorithms, or in general competitive programming, and the second is some development skills, so like web development or Android development. So what I see is like most of the students focus on only one of them. So, but what I would suggest is that you should focus on both of them and then like master one of them, like completely master like one
Okay.
of them. So that would be my advice. So like because most of the students, what they do is either they like completely focus on competitive programming and don't do any development. So what is the disadvantage of that is that so we cannot get like based on only competitive programming we cannot get early internships. So for example, like internships after second year. So I've done an internship at a startup also after second year, and that internship I mainly got because of some development skills. Like I was into web development back then. So, and because of that I was able to like secure that internship. So that is one thing. And also only development is also not good, because as I mentioned, in online assessment of most of the companies, the questions are based on data structures and algorithms, and you have to solve them in a limited amount of time. So if you are doing at least some competitive programming, then the chances of you solving those questions significantly increases. So so what I would suggest is that you should do both of them and like completely focus on one of them afterwards. So that would be my advice related to preparation. And for applying, my advice would be that you should apply to as many companies as possible, because the process is quite random, if I honestly say, because many a times companies don't reply back because of the huge number of applications. So the only way to tackle is that you should apply to as many companies as possible. So suppose if you're applying to 50 companies, then at least like 10 companies would send you the online assessment link, and after that, like after only 4 to 5 companies would send you the interview link. So basically you should apply to as many of them, so to increase your chances of placement. So that would be my advices.
Okay, so it's a difficult journey to get your internship or your placement, but your skills matter.
Yeah, so like if you do it in a structured way, I won't say it is difficult, but you just have to be consistent. That is all.
Okay, your consistency was a key. Like your coding
Yeah,
practice helped you a
consistent.
lot.
Yeah, so consistently programming like is way better than programming in one day. Like programming a lot of questions in one day is never good. Like consistently programming is
Yeah.
always
Okay. Okay, thank you so much. We have cleared all our doubts and all our questions were cleared, like how you got placed in Cisco, and even your procedure for EQ was well explained. Thank you for answering the questions. It was nice talking to you.